the teams arrived at the USA Grand Prix, there was a lot of developments that were getting ready for the next season here in Formula 1. It has been rumoured now that Toyota are interested in making a return to F1 with a partnership with McLaren. McLaren's contract with Renault as their partnered engine supplier for next season is up at the end of this season, and Toyota are interested in joining. However, there are some other thoughts to suggest that Toyota may be returning to Formula 1 as their own team. We'll have to find out more and see what Toyota say about this in the future. Esteban Ocon remains happy with Force India after having a long chat with his team. After, obviously, Ocon showed his frustrations with the team, he sort of let out a little bit too much, he felt, and decided to go ahead and apologise to the team and have a conversation about where he's going forward for Force India. Renault are considering leaving Formula 1 as they are now extremely unhappy with the rule changes in F1. Renault were initially unhappy that the rule changes in Formula 1 with the lower weight, with the entire huge changes, with the shark fin, the lower wings, the longer front wings, all of that stuff, all those big aero changes. They just weren't happy with them, and they're not happy about the engine development changes either, and they're just not happy in Formula 1, and they're just losing out at the back of the field, and it doesn't seem like they're trying, so they might actually be leaving at the end of the season. We're not sure yet. We'll have to have a little word with the team bosses at Renault and see if this is true, but at the moment, looks like Renault could be on their way out next season. Into the finally then, the mid-season transfer window, that now has closed. All the deals that were going to go through actually fell through. Williams were trying to make it a bid to get rid of Antonio Giovinazzi for trying to bid in for Pierre Gasly. That didn't work, and obviously McLaren was attempted to sign Nick de Vries, but apparently that official bid was not official, and that they'd never actually bid it in the first place, and are happy with Van Dorn and Lando Norris, and they said their decisions will be made at the end of the season. So yeah. Apparently that transfer was false, but no more transfers went through. The only one was Tom moving to Mercedes and Ricciardo moving to Ferrari. And overall, teams just suggested that they didn't really quite think about who they needed and didn't really prepare for the transfer window and lost out because of it. And finally, a few practice pointers heading into the USA Grand Prix. It is showing that there is nothing to separate Mercedes and Ferrari here at COTA. Mercedes and Ferrari showed pretty much identical pace on their qualifying simulation runs and also in their race paces. So it looks like Mercedes and Ferrari are set to battle it out here in USA. Jaguar have brought some big updates here to the USA Grand Prix, and it seems to be working well for them. They're still struggling in qualifying, however their race pace is looking really, really good, and their overall tyre conservation is doing really, really well, and they seem to be understanding the tyres a lot more. And also, finally then, as the last practice pointer, it seems like teams are unsure whether the one-stop or the two-stop strategy will be the best strategy heading forward into this Grand Prix. So we could see a mixture in the grid with the one-stoppers mixing it with the two-stoppers. Let's get into the race for the USA Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy298 here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here for the 8th round here at the USA Grand Prix, and we're kicking things off here with qualifying. And as you can see, this is our first lap here at the USA Grand Prix. Just a banker lap, and it was a terrible lap anyway. Messed up loads of corners, and that was just kind of that really. 8/10 off the pace. Nothing really to shout about, but just wanted to let you guys know. A lot of you understood why the F1 journey wasn't around last week, because I explained it on my video that replaced it on the Saturday. But obviously, I've had a lot of problems with the Elgato software. It's just not been working, and as a result, I have lost in total 18 videos that I've made. And obviously, and when you're in a full-time job as well, it's not very easy to get that back up. So we lost out, but luckily for myself, I managed to sort out the issues. I've managed to get down to the bottom of it, and it's a big thank you to Elgato for themselves for actually for their contact services. They did a lot of help, and they definitely gave me all the tips that I needed, and went ahead and fixed all the solutions. Yeah, we're good to go. But anyway, into qualifying then, you can see here that we're 4/10 up on our best lap. We're actually 2/10 up in the first sector alone, but that was our best sector actually, the first sector. In the middle sector, that is our weakest sector. That's where we lost all the time, and we lost the rear end there, coming out of the exit of the hairpin there. And annoyingly now, Sebastian Vettel here is not on a lap actually, and he's kind of just put me off unfortunately. And you can see here that we're about a 1/10.5 down now on our best laps. We've lost 3/10 in the middle sector. A bit of it was my own, in fairness. But yeah, Vettel just sort of put me off my lines a little bit, and it was sort of like, where's the best place to sort of pass him and try and find a good position. And as you can see here, I'm sort of having to just lift off the throttle a little bit. I don't want to catch him and be blocked in these corners. And unfortunately for me, this lap was very compromised by Sebastian Vettel here. But across the line, Hamilton sets a new fastest lap, and we come across the line. And overall, though, it's still a very solid lap from ourselves. Unfortunately, though, despite the fact we were a tenth slower than Hamilton, we finished all the way down in P4, which is quite surprising, honestly. And you can see there, look at the gap between the top four. Hamilton just 7 100ths clear of Verstappen, 9 100ths clear of Daniel Ricciardo, and then myself there just a tenth back, or close enough to 2 tenths behind. So we lost a lot of time from Sebastian Vettel. We lost a bit of time on the exit of the hairpin that led onto the long back straight. Back end came out on us. Outbraked ourselves as well at the exit of that straight. So those 2 corners cost us time there, and obviously Vettel just being in the way cost us some time. But nevertheless, P4 is still a fantastic starting position, especially with the run-up to turn 1. And as you would have seen in the practice pointers, it was very tied up between a 1 or a 2-stop race. But I'm going with the 2-stop for this Grand Prix. So as you can see on the grid, then we've got 5 red lights here for this Grand Prix, and it is lights out. We go here to start this USA Grand Prix. It's been a bad start for myself, also a bad start from Hamilton. He's been swamped by both of the Ferraris. If we go in towards the first corner now, we're going to brake nice and late. Verstappen's locked up a little bit, made a mistake in towards turn 1, and we just go a bit wide, but Daniel Ricciardo now gets in front here, and it's now a drag between myself and Daniel Ricciardo as we make the run now down in towards the S section here. Going to brake early now, give Ricciardo the line, switch back, go the other way from him, and we're back up into the lead here on Daniel Ricciardo, and that is a great overtaking move there, very well executed. We go a little bit wide in the rest of the S section, but we'll be able to claw it back and stay in front there. So lovely bit of work there, just making sure that we braked a little bit earlier, sort of got ourselves in a clean position there for the run, as Daniel Ricciardo now swarming all over the back of my car there. And we have got a car that is out of this Grand Prix. I'm not sure who it is, hasn't seemed to have popped up yet on the screen of who it was. But onto lap 2 of the Grand Prix now. We've got a safety car straight away, and it's Stoffel Vandoorne who is out of the Grand Prix. So his miserable season for McLaren continues here at the USA Grand Prix. McLaren's poor run of form. They haven't scored points. I think it's been in the last 3 races now, so it's really not helped them in their fight against Audi. And now Jaguar and Force India are catching up to them. And as we can see, onto lap 4 now, the race is restarting, and we're going around the last corner now to complete the end of the 4th lap, to start lap 5 here of this Grand Prix. Ricciardo right on my back there, 3 tenths behind, but of course the safety car has bunched things up and has pretty much put the strategy in a very complicated position now. Onto lap 8 of the Grand Prix, and we're coming in for our first stop of the Grand Prix. And obviously we could have gone longer because of the safety car, but I just wasn't happy on these ultra soft tyres. They weren't really working for me, so I'm just going to come in and I'm going to go on for a fresh set of ultra soft tyres, and I'm going to commit to the 2-stop race. I don't know out of the top grid, out of, for example, me, Ricciardo, Hamilton and Verstappen, who's going to go on what tyres, but I feel like the 2-stop is probably the best way to go. I feel like overall I just need that 2-stop in a preference. I just don't think I can get the soft tyres all the way to the end of the race. That's my only worry. And if I was going to do that, I'd need to take the ultra soft tyres that I'm using a little bit longer, and I just didn't have any pace with them. So I feel like I'm just going to be a bit faster on the 2-stop races. We come out of the pits now. I believe we're just in front of Robert Kubica in the Renault, and there he is there just in front of us. So we'll manage to stay in front of Robert Kubica for the time being. Now we're chasing down his teammate Nico Hülkenberg, who you can see here we've closed up now. And as we come in towards the hairpin corner here before the back straight, we are going to go for a move down the inside. We're on fresh tyres. We're in a much better car, and obviously I am a god on the brakes, as I like to say, but I'm not. I just like to say, call myself that. It's self-motivation, guys. Use it more. And as you can see, we're up into P12 now, and we're catching up to the back of Sergio Perez, and we're going to ride on board with the rest of the lap as we make our pursuit on Sergio Perez. So coming in towards this corner again, I always seem to be missing that apex a lot. That was a corner that I missed the apex a lot on. And as well, this corner here is sort of a blind corner. You've got no brake marker boards to really help you out in there. And again with this corner as well, no brake marker boards. So it's sort of just an estimate. So sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it too early and you sort of cut the corner a little bit. And then sometimes you get it completely late and you just go very wide, completely run down deep. And it hurts you a lot as we now come in towards the final part of the lap here. Second to last corner, very nicely done. A little bit wide on the exit there, lost the rear end slightly, but now you can see we've got a big train of cars coming up, and we need to see where we are in sync with the rest of the drivers. We've set the fastest final sector of anybody so far in the Grand Prix, so that's going to help us out in our pursuit of, or staying in front of the likes of Ricciardo and also Hamilton. You can see there that Ricciardo is on soft tyres in this Grand Prix. So straight away then, we have got a strategical mix-up. We are on the 2-stop race. Ricciardo is going for the one-stop in this Grand Prix, and he's just behind us there. As you can see, we go through the S section now. We're going to go down the inside here of one of the Williams. I think that's Perez there, and we do just that. Lovely overtake there on Sergio Perez. We now go around the outside here of Esteban Ocon, switches that to the inside line, and we're just literally flying through these cars right now. You see Ricciardo there as well, picking up some pieces, and Verstappen now, weirdly enough, here. I don't believe Verstappen is pitted, so we're going to go down around the outside here. Verstappen, and our title rival, has had some issues in this Grand Prix because he's got to make a stop yet in this race, so he's now a pit stop back. But crucially, making all these overtakes in one is going to really help us out because Ricciardo's on soft tyres. He's not going to get past any of these cars down the straights. They've got DRS, and you can see we go down the inside of Charles Leclerc in the BMW Sauber. And yeah, this is crucial because Ricciardo's on soft tyres. Speaking of Ricciardo, here he is now just making a move. The longer he gets held up here, the quicker I can make my way through the field, get into that clean air that I'm looking for, and then, obviously, I need to pull out a gap because now, no matter what now, Ricciardo will have track position. And further on, you can see as Ricciardo is fighting one of the Force Indians with Williams, that's me going down the inside of Pascal Wehrlein to take the lead of the Grand Prix. So you can already see the gap that I'm building, and I need to keep just doing that right now. And I need to make sure, because Ricciardo is a very quick car, and him going on the one-stop, it's actually put me in a bad position in this Grand Prix because he'll have track position and he's quick anyway. So, yeah, it's the Ferrari. It's the fastest car on the grid. So, you know, we've got some work to do in this Grand Prix. As Ricciardo there goes down the inside of Esteban Ocon, and then on to the end of that lap, Lewis Hamilton now is going to make his charge on Esteban Ocon. He's got Carlos Sainz there right behind him. So Hamilton also needs to get a move on because, again, Hamilton's got to make a stop as well. So, in theory, Hamilton is in a lot of trouble because he needs to get past Ricciardo, build a pit stops gap, and to get out in front of Ricciardo. So really, Hamilton's not put himself in a strong position for this Grand Prix as Ricciardo making more moves here. He goes down the inside of Sergio Perez and in the Williams car, in the Williams Porsche. And we still haven't actually got any news yet whether Porsche are going to go ahead and take over Williams. And bit of contact there between the two of them as they were just sort of fighting a little bit there. And on to lap 16 of the Grand Prix, Carlos Sainz is out of the USA Grand Prix, and that's brought out the second safety car in this race, and that is bang on my pit stop window. I was coming into the pits at the end of this lap anyway to go onto a set of super soft tyres, and well, there you can see, look, lap 16, that is bang on my pit stop window, which means now that we can come into the pits, strap on a new set of super soft tyres, close right up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo, and we don't have to close that 10-15 second gap that we would have had to have closed had we not had a safety car come out. So, to the safety car gods, to the F1 gods, to whoever is the god apart from myself, I thank you very much, because now we are in a very good position to win this Grand Prix. As we come out of the pit sign, you see Ricciardo is going to go and take the lead of the Grand Prix, obviously. You can see there he goes up the hill in towards turn 1. But we are going to go ahead and stay in front as a police car just decides to go flying past. That's great. It's going to go past. Now, there it goes. Nino. And that's because my window is open. So I haven't done anything wrong, trust me. But yeah, as you can see, the safety car coming in at the end of this lap now, lap 18 of this Grand Prix. Ricciardo bolts it pretty early, just like I did on my run, as we now go in towards the last corner here. And now it is our attack on Daniel Ricciardo. Let's see what we can do on the Aussie, who's got a good chance of winning this Grand Prix now. And as you can see, on board with our front wing here, as we go in towards the first corner, you're going to see, can we make a lunge for it? We're going to have a look at Daniel Ricciardo in towards the first corner. We're not close enough to make a lunge. I'm not going for it there. And he sort of gives us a little bit of a brake test there, to kind of let me know, did your brakes actually work there? So he tries to do the Ricciardo on Ricciardo. Didn't quite work for us. We've actually got Brendan Hartley, who's in third place at the moment behind us. So Brendan doing a phenomenal job for his for Jaguar at the moment. But our focus is not on Brendan Hartley because he's not going to catch us. It's now a sprint between myself and Daniel Ricciardo to the end of this race. And you can see here Ricciardo now up the hill, and we go down the hill now in towards the hairpin. Can we make a move here like we did against Max Verstappen? He sort of moves to the middle of the circuit there, sort of compromises his line slightly, and this time now we've got a random floating bollard. If anything can get more weird in this race, that floating bollard is. But as you can see, we pull out of the slipstream here of Daniel Ricciardo, getting a little bit close for comfort there. But as you can see, we breeze past the Australian, and as you can see now, we have just got to basically hold on to track position, and we're looking further back for this man here, Lewis Hamilton, who goes down the inside of Pascal Wehrlein, and he's a man that we need to watch out for because Lewis Hamilton, of course, is on super softs as well. They're fresh set, just like mine are. And as you can see here, he's having a look at Verstappen now in towards the hairpin, sort of darting around left, right, and centre, trying to find a good run here. He's actually got his nose tucked in a little bit on Verstappen, breaks later in towards this right-hander, and again, he sort of just shoves Verstappen wide, getting the elbows out there for Hamilton, and he gets up into, I believe that's P6 now. I'm trying to correct him which way it is. And now Hamilton attacking Brendan Hartley here in the Jaguar, who are slipping back now as the front runners sort of make their way through here. Hopefully Jaguar in the seasons to come. Of course, it is their first season in Formula 1. Hopefully soon they can be at the front there challenging. And as you can see now, back on board with Lewis Hamilton here as he comes towards the back of Pierre Gasly now. DRS open for Lewis Hamilton. Fernando Alonso inside as well. This is the battle for P4 in this Grand Prix, and around the outside, Lewis Hamilton makes that move stick on Pierre Gasly, who puts up a fight though, so Pierre is going to have to fight a little bit more to keep his position, and Hamilton is actually going to have to get his elbows out as well, and he pretty much does the same move there as he does on Verstappen, and gets in front now, up into 4th place in this Grand Prix. But it's not over yet for the charge for Lewis Hamilton. It's been a little bit of a montage of overtakes today, and once again, the random floating bollard just stays there. Hamilton now attacking Fernando Alonso in the Red Bull, and as you can see, Hamilton with the DRS open, he is going to go to the inside line, but it's going to be quite a simple overtake. You see that breezes past Fernando, and Verstappen in the background gets past one of the Jaguars. But onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. It has been a great race for us today, and that is going to mean we are going to win the USA Grand Prix. That is going to be back-to-back race wins for us, and obviously with Verstappen faltering, this could just bring another twist in the World Drivers' Championship, and what a superb race in general. But as you can see then, it was myself winning the Grand Prix ahead of Ricciardo, Hamilton, Alonso, Verstappen, Gasly, Hartley, Wehrlein, Perez and Ocon, Vettel and Rosberg missing out on the points. But overall, a very, very fun, enjoyable race. A lot of overtaking in that Grand Prix. There was a lot of overtakes. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Taking a look then at the Drivers' Championship after the USA Grand Prix. Things have changed now at the top of the championship. I have managed to take the lead of the World Drivers' Championship once again. Of course, I lost it after the British Grand Prix. I think I lost it, or maybe I lost it a little bit. Yeah, it was the British Grand Prix that I lost the lead of the championship, and Verstappen took over. But now we are 11 points clear of Max Verstappen, who is just in front of Daniel Ricciardo in the Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton on 94 points, with Fernando Alonso, who is now in 5th place in the championship, overtakes Sebastian Vettel, who failed to score for Audi today. Carlos Sainz with 2 DNFs in a row, probably starting to get frustrated. Of course, it was him and Alonso tied on points constantly throughout this season, and now Alonso is starting to run away a little bit. Brendan Hartley now doing a great job, and he's actually overtaken Lando Norris. So Norris, who was pretty much the man to beat this season, has not had the reliability that he needs with McLaren, and he has dropped behind Hartley. Pascal Wehrlein closing in on him as well. Sergio Perez doing a great job for Williams Porsche there. Stoffel Vandoorne not scoring. Pierre Gasly now tied with Stoffel Vandoorne as he continues to start scoring some regular points, just like Hartley has, and Ocon with 8 points as well, jumping Leclerc, Rosberg, and then Bottas there with Kubica, Hulkenberg, and Giovinazzi yet to score. Moving on then into the Constructors' Championship after the USA Grand Prix. Ferrari still lead the Constructors' Championship by a comfortable 45 points over Mercedes-Benz. However, Mercedes have been making massive inroads on that Constructors' Championship lead. And when it looked like it was all wrapped up, if you think about it, a DNF for both cars and also a 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz will put Mercedes just 2 points back, or 3 points back. So yeah, it's not over yet as the top two continue to fight for supremacy. Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing are very far behind now, and it is a 2-horse race in the Constructors' Championship. However, the battle for 4th in the championship is hotting up now. Audi are currently in 4th on 67 points. However, Jaguar is now in front of McLaren after a strong result. Force India also making gains, so Audi might have to be looking at what they can do against the 3 behind them, with Williams Porsche sort of in a little bit of a league of their own. Same with BMW, Sauber and Renault haven't scored yet. But guys, that is going to be it for the F1 journey for this episode here at the USA Grand Prix. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to drop it a like. If you are new around here as well and you haven't subscribed to the channel already and you enjoy the content you do see, feel free to drop a subscription as well, and don't forget to click that bell to get notifications when I upload every single video. The next race is the Singapore Grand Prix, which is my favourite track on the calendar, so if I don't win that race I'll be very angry. So a lot of expectations for that race, and then we move on into some races which are more challenging for myself, so that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But until then guys, I will see you next time. Take care all. Peace.